Hey y'all, it's Sean's Lawns here with a video over the Ballard Catch Pro with the Leaf Extender Pro. So here you'll see me putting it together. It's really nice. I used the same size screw for the entire thing, so you don't got to worry about that. And it came together pretty quick. It took about maybe an hour to build. One thing I do really like about it is it's all separate parts, and so if anything breaks on it, it's easily replaceable. I looked on Ballard's website and it seemed like they had parts for every piece of it, so you know, if one thing breaks, you don't have to replace the whole unit, you can just replace that one part. The bracket to connect it to the mower is real easy to put on. Just drilled a few holes and used the bolts that came with it. And as you can see here, you just push in the pin and then it just rests down on it. I never had any issues with it falling off or anything like that. Here you'll see it in action, me going over all the leaves. I did go over this yard and kind of blow them all in the middle to begin with. I believe for this whole yard I had to dump it about 5 times, and this was a lot of leaves. You know, I blew them all in the middle and kind of got them chopped up, and so, you know, with each probably 2 swipes I had to dump it. Not too bad, but, you know, I'm just trying to keep my customers happy. I'm not trying to make this too big of a business. Here you'll see me dumping it. You know, you just take the back gate off, lift up. It's not too heavy, probably about, you know, 60 pounds or so when it's full of leaves. Not too bad. Did come to find out it was easier to just kind of toss it up in the truck and then hop in the truck and do it that way. You know, then you're not tiring your shoulders out all day. Here's how it latches down. Put it into the slot and then the pin goes down. Pretty easy. Stays in there. Never had any trouble with it popping off. Here is how the yard looks like when it's all said and done. And then here's another yard. I just kind of went over the whole thing again with the mower to begin with, chopping them up a little bit. I think it does help. You know, it's a little bit less leaves to pick up and stuff, and I've never had any customers have a problem with it. And then we got a thumbs up from the owner, so that's always great.
So guys, in the end, I do want to say I do really like the product. You know, I like almost everything about it, you know, especially the price point it comes at. You know, I think I paid $624 on it, and you know, with these jobs, I'm charging, you know, $150, $200, $250 for these jobs that take me, you know, 2 hours or less. You know, I can make my money back in 3 short jobs. In less than a day, I already make my money back on the unit. And not many products or attachments to things you buy for your mower can you make your money back that quick on it. But I will say that there are, you know, I've been using it for a little while now, and there are a few little things that I would change on it. So guys, the first thing I would say I would change is this. So normally it wouldn't have this gap, but I do have the Leaf Extender Pro on it, and with that has this gap here that, you know, you can see is maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit bigger. And it does let out a little bit of dust, and sometimes it shoots out, you know, a little bit of leaves, which I don't love. You know, it's not the biggest deal in the world or anything like that, but it's just something that, I don't know, if possible, if they could somehow bring something down here and close that gap a little bit. That's one thing I would change. The next thing that I would change is these handles. Now these handles, they are placed, I've noticed, especially with, you know, with it fully weighted and everything, the handles are placed really well. You know, the way they're set and everything, they definitely thought it out of where they wanted them, so that way it was easy to dump. You know, I'm 5'9" and not the strongest thing, but, you know, dumping it wasn't the biggest problem for me, really. I mean, maybe after doing a few jobs it'd be a problem, but it really wasn't too big of an issue strength wise, I guess you would say. But I will say it was a little bit bearing on my hands. So like, I think if I did this again, I'd have to wear gloves, because if you look at it, these handles, they're a little bit skinny. You know, when you grab it, it kind of pokes into your hand a little bit, and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. So after doing a few jobs, I kind of noticed that was beginning to be a little bit of a pain. So that would be one thing I would change, just, you know, maybe kind of round off these handles a little bit. And then the last thing on this thing that I would fix, which I honestly don't even know how, is right here. This has a little bit of a gap in it, but this gap here lets out just a little bit of dust and leaves, and it's not a big deal at all. Just something I would change. Still love it. Does a great job. I mean, you saw the lines. It doesn't really skip a beat. Doesn't miss any leaves or anything like that. But that's just probably the only other thing I would change on it.
Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.